Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for November 2024 for each life path number to see how the energies of November could influence you. Before we get into the forecast, this is a general reading. If you would like your own personal reading, your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you and take a closer look. Also, if you book a year ahead forecast or any reading that has the year ahead forecast included in it, you'll get your year ahead forecast for the rest of 2024 and all of 2025. So this is a great time to book your year ahead forecast if you haven't done so yet. So if you want to do that, you can book some time with me. Again, my information is in the description box below. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these life path numbers for November. Life path 33-6. Well, you all are going into the depth of the depths this month. You are going to be working with the vibration of the 52-7 as well as salamander energy. So let's break down the 52-7 first, and then we'll talk about salamander. So with the 52-7, this can bring in some changing conditions that can sort of separate you temporarily. This is not a long-term thing, but temporarily from familiar life patterns. And you could experience this feeling or an actual period of solitude. And that solitude, though it's very much needed at this time based on the energy, it can at times feel sort of lonely and isolated. So this could be a time where, maybe you're somebody who's more solitary by nature. This could be a month where that kind of comes in and hits you pretty hard, where you enjoy your solitude, you get a lot out of that solitude, but there's also that sense of loneliness, right? There's that sense of wanting to connect with others and have that deeper connection with others without this sort of drama, without the games, without, where it's two people or several people seeing each other for who they truly are, and, not the games that we humans tend to play, right? The masks that we wear, etc. And so there can be sort of that desire this month for that deeper connection. But I don't know necessarily that this would be the month that would come in for you. It might be that this is the month you realize that you really want that deeper connection, and you start finding ways to connect with others in a way that maybe you haven't connected before. But I think this month for November, because you're working with this strong vibration of the 52-7, this is more about the inner depths, right? Like really coming back to self and really sitting with what it is that you want, what it is that you need, etc. And coming to that conclusion, right? So it's not necessarily about this would be the month where those people come in for you, although it might be, but this would be the month where you realize, I need my solitude, I need my time for rejuvenation, but I also want that deeper connection. And so this might be the month where you start to figure out a way to get that, right? And it might be about joining different clubs that, would surround you by people who have similar interests, or, who are like-minded and that sort of thing, or doing something like, taking up pottery or something like that. And then you never know who you're going to meet through that experience. But this would be the month where you may want that and you may yearn for that, but there's something kind of standing in the way, and it's not punitive, but it's forcing you to really sit with yourself and to really take that deeper look into what is it that I want? What is it that I need? And it doesn't have to be just with relationships. It can be with anything. But this month is really sort of separating you from the external and pushing you back into yourself in a really deep and meaningful way, so that you can gain that deeper clarity for what it is that you truly want, and then formulate the plan for how you'll move towards getting that, right? And again, it's like this separation that could likely occur. And it doesn't have to be like, well, I don't know, it could be very physical, right? You could, something might occur that sort of pushes you more into solitude this month. And instead of kind of, focusing on why that separation had to happen, whatever that separation is for you, understand that this separation is actually really necessary to sort of push you back into your own internal world and your thoughts and ideas related to your higher self, to your higher consciousness, to your soul, to the spiritual world. So it's really, even though it can feel punitive, this separation, whatever that means for you, it's not. It's actually connecting you or reconnecting you or strengthening those ties to your higher consciousness, your higher self, the spiritual world. And through that, you could also tap into some gifts that you didn't know you had, or again, you could strengthen some gifts that you already know that you have, but maybe you've become disconnected from them. So this separation is needed in order to come back together, if that makes sense. And not only with you, but with others as well. Because it's only through truly knowing ourselves, and this is going to sound so trite, but it's only through truly knowing ourselves that we can understand the greater world at large and greater understand other people. So this 52/7 throughout November is helping you to come back to yourself, to take that pause and to decide again, to check in with yourself, because maybe what you wanted 6 months ago is not what you want now. Maybe it looks very different. Maybe the way that you're meant to approach it is very different. And so this energy can help to sort of pull you back into yourself a little bit so that you're not being too easily influenced by the external, and you have that time and that space to really connect with you and decide what it is that you want. And again, what does that look like? Is really kind of pushing you to sort of strike that beautiful balance between what appears to be real and what is real, right? So you might, through this period, you might start to see the relationships that you thought were genuine, that you thought were, strong. Actually, there's some holes there. There's some foundational breaks that need to be addressed, right? There's different things that can come up. Or, maybe you're feeling burnt out in your work, and you continue to put the Band-Aid on it, but really there's a solution. It's just you have to find the solution for whatever that looks like for you, right? And this sort of pause, this beautiful vibration of the 52/7, this sort of separation or this momentary time for solitude can help you to strike that balance and see, oh, okay, this thing I've been stressing about, this thing I've been worrying about the future, it's not even real, right? What I'm working through right now is real. So let me face this, let me deal with this, let me move through this and find the solution for this. And when I get to that point in the future that I've been worrying about, then I can deal with that, right? Because it'll be right in front of me at that point, and then I can manage it. So there's a lot of that as well, really kind of discerning between what's actually real and what is just that figment of my imagination that I'm creating stories around, or I'm building up to be bigger than it actually is. Beautiful energy though, especially for 33s, to really connect deeper into their own personal spirituality. And that's what I always say, like, spirituality is so personal. It's so sacred to the individual. It's not something that is really like this mass project, right? It's so personal and so diverse for the individual. And so this beautiful 52/7 is really helping you to come back and connect to that, to your own personal spirituality. And really the core of that is connecting to your higher self, to make sure that where you're at in your journey is, it feels good for you. And if it doesn't, this is a great month to figure out, a new direction perhaps that you want to move in or move towards. And it really does kind of help you to discover what has real value for you and what doesn't. Like, where are you investing your energy into something that truly does have value for you, and where are you investing your energy into something that doesn't? And there could be some reframing needed there. This would be a beautiful time for taking trips, right? Like, and not like these big, adventurous trips necessarily, unless you feel called to that. But this would be more like taking a trip to, the countryside and renting a cat, or into the mountains. I don't know. I live in Colorado, so this is my my example, but going into the mountains and getting a cabin and just being alone in the wilderness with the animals and nature and connecting with yourself in that way, or whatever speaks to you, right? If that means renting an apartment in the middle of the downtown area and spending time in solitude there, then you go for it, whatever speaks to you. But this could be a beautiful time for those kind of trips where it's not necessarily about the adventure or connecting with others in that way. It's more about connecting with yourself, truly connecting with yourself. So yeah, solitude for greater self-discovery, I think, is going to be a keynote this month for you all, just to get back in touch with you. It is interesting because you got salamander energy, and so much tied to that is, magic and inspiration. And there's so much beauty in coming back to yourself and really being inspired by that connection that you have with yourself. And I know it sounds cheesy, but there's so much beauty in that, and there's so much magic in that, and so much can happen from that space. So I think this month is really helping you to reconnect to that, right? To drown out the external noise and come back to you and come back to what truly matters for you, and then put your energy and investment there. So I hope it's a beautiful month for you all. It truly does have this powerful, underlying magic to it. It can feel a little bit like, again, that separation can sometimes bring in those feelings of loneliness and solitude and being isolated, right? Isolation. Like solitude and isolation are two different things, right? And you just have to find a way to kind of move through that, just knowing that connection will reoccur. This is just temporary, and it's just bringing you back to you. So I hope it's a beautiful one. Take care, 33s. Bye for now.